Hey, how's it going everybody? My name's Extract, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're covering the differences between DayZ and Deadside. I might do another one of these videos in the future where I compare these games, Deadside, to Ark, or maybe Rust, because Ark's a bit hard to compare to. Anyway, DayZ is a single life survival shooter. Your goal is to survive as long as you can in a single life. Shock horror. Deadside is different. Deadside's a multi-life survival shooter. At least that's what I call it. Where you have fixed respawn points. You know that's basically what makes a multi-life survival game is if you have fixed points of respawn. And of course, in this game you can build a base, and you can make that base comfortable, which gives you buffs. So base building's a big part of this game. And of course you're going to stash up a bunch of guns, you're going to stash up a bunch of attachments and loot to trade with the traders and stuff like that. DayZ doesn't have traders, at least in the official servers. And I'm a official scum in DayZ. I always play official. I never really play community servers because I just don't like that people took it upon themselves to change the game. I don't know why that is. I know DayZ was a mod, but modding DayZ just feels wrong to me, but I more on that in another video. I plan to give my full thoughts on that in a separate video. But anyway, another difference between DayZ and Deadside is its gunplay. Deadside, in my opinion, has better gunplay than DayZ, a bit smoother. Unjamming weapons is quick. It's not like you're going to be smacking your weapon for a good 15 minutes trying to get a fucking bullet out of the chamber because it refused to fire. No, in this game, it's not the bullets refusing to fire, it's a gun malfunction. Every single time it's a gun malfunction. Bullets don't have degradation like they do in DayZ. I like that at the moment, you know, it's a bit easier, and that's an excuse for why you don't have misfires. But maybe they'll add it one day. And I guess if they do, we'll see how it plays out then. As you can see, my gun here is jamming an awful lot. And guns do in this game. Guns jam a lot because their durability goes down very fast. Very, very fast. So much so that you might only get to use a gun on a run or two before you may as well just scrap it for parts. But I kind of like that. Just a little bit, where the guns that you use, they're temporary. You know, this game really does take this loot is not yours, it's just your turn. You know, it takes that to the fullest, way more than in DayZ. In DayZ, a lot of people run back for their bodies, and people do that in this game too. It's even easier in this game because of fixed respawn points. But at the same time, I typically don't, because I just feel that if somebody killed me in a fair gunfight, then they deserve the loot. You know, but I am also, in the same breath, the type of person to log out with all my best gear on me. Anyway, yeah, flame me for that in the comments. I'll take it on the chin. I do it, but I just don't want to lose all my shit. You know, I want stuff to sell or stash in the safe zone. That's another really cool aspect about this game. If you die and you're just like, damn, that sucks, you can just do it all over again. You can start from the start and you can just go back to your base, hit random respawn, go to the closest safe zone, re-gear there, sell some stuff. You know, there's more choice, I feel, in this game. It's not go, go, go all the time where you're like, you have to get inland, have to find food, have to hunt something, have to do some fishing. You know, like, it doesn't have all that stress. You know, it's much more chilled out because of the survival features being quite smooth. They're casually integrated rather than being a main focus. So while this is a survival shooter, I wouldn't call it a hardcore survival shooter because of the lack of things like heat, well, just temperature in general, like areas having temperature and stuff like that. Because it doesn't have sickness, but I don't think this game should have sickness, because it wouldn't last long on your character. Unless for some reason sickness is carrying over between characters, which it shouldn't, then I don't see the point in adding it, because you'll probably die before it's been on you long enough to make a difference. You know, you die a lot in Deadside, you really do. You'll be respawning at least once every session. You know, you're not going to go a full session without a death. Sure, if you're just logging on to quickly do a mission and check your upkeep, then yeah, sure, maybe you won't die then, but you'll die eventually. But yeah, DayZ and Deadside are similar games. They're similar games, but they're dissimilar enough to warrant different communities. You know, like, different people are going to gravitate towards Deadside. The more casual, the dad gamer, I feel, the dad gamer would love Deadside. But it's also a much more cooperative experience. Deadside, while most people still KOS, because it is a survival shooter, people are going to KOS all the time. VoIP being in the game from the start, just like DayZ, it's a good thing to have. You know, like you can make a friend at the safe zone. You could betray somebody if you really want. It's sad, but I've already done it. You know, I'm gonna tell that story in a different video. It's a pretty long story, so I'll get into that at a different time. But yeah, so these games are similar, but they're different enough to warrant different attitudes. You know, it's a great game. I really hope that the developers of Deadside continue to absolutely smashing. You know, they've been pumping out content out the wazoo. You know, they've been doing all sorts around here. So I'm looking forward to the future. I think it's going to be good for Deadside. Don't get me wrong, the future is looking great for DayZ too, but Deadside just came out. You give this game its time. You know, it deserves its time in the limelight. Because DayZ, as much as I love it, DayZ's been around and talked about for years. I could do with a new conversation piece. You know, and this game is certainly a good conversation piece. Anyway, let me know in the comments your guys' opinions, if you prefer DayZ, if you prefer Deadside, what you think a main difference is that I've failed to mention in this video. Smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll get more coming at the end of the week and a blooper review at the start of April. I'll see you guys later and have a fantastic day. Bye bye.